Today, we're breaking down a story that just perfectly captures our strange political moment. Seriously, we're going to explore what happens when a massive real-world protest collides with, well, a surreal digital counterattack from the highest office in the land. It's a wild one. Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about the millions of people who are actually out on the streets. Then we'll get into that interesting AI video that was the president's response. From there, we'll look at the online firestorm, how the White House reacted, and then, tie it all together to see what it all means. So let's set the stage. Before we get to any of the weird online stuff, this whole thing started on the ground. And I mean really on the ground. We're talking about one of the biggest protest movements the U.S. has seen in a long, long time. A massive physical show of dissent. And when I say massive, I mean, wow. To put a number on it, organizers, and this is according to CNN, estimated that nearly 7 million people were part of these No Kings protests. That's not just big, that's a huge national mobilization with people coming out in all 50 states. So you might be asking, what was this all about? Well, the key thing to understand here is that this wasn't just about one thing. Nope. You had people in over 2,700 cities protesting a whole bunch of different administration policies. And to top it all off, this was all going down during a really tense federal government shutdown, which just added even more fuel to the fire. Okay, so you've got this massive real-world protest. And this is where the story just takes a hard right turn. We go from millions of people on the streets to a tiny 19-second video on a screen. A video that, you could argue, made even bigger waves than the protest itself. So that really brings us to the core of it, right? You have millions of your own citizens out there exercising their right to protest. How do you respond as president? Well, let's just say the official response was not what anyone saw coming. All right, let's dissect this thing. The video, which popped up on Truth Social, was basically an AI-generated fever dream. You've got the president in a pilot's uniform, sometimes with a crown on, flying a fighter jet that says King Trump on the side. The Danger Zone song from Top Gun is blasting, and then the jet flies over what looks like a crowd of protesters and drops this brown liquid. Sources called it either mud or, well, feces, right on top of them. So, yeah, as you can probably guess, a video like that coming from a sitting president absolutely set social media on fire. It was like dropping a match in a gasoline factory. The reaction was instant, it was intense, and it was completely divided. And I mean, the split was just night and day. On one side, you had supporters who thought it was hilarious. They saw it as, expertly trolling the radical left. But on the other side, people were just floored. Critics saw it as completely inappropriate, a shocking attack on Americans who were just out there exercising their right to free speech. And look, this wasn't just some random online fight between trolls. The official Republican leadership had kind of already set the stage for this. Even before the video dropped, you had House Speaker Mike Johnson calling the protests a Hate America rally, full of Marxists. So there was already this huge disconnect between how the protesters saw themselves and how they were being portrayed. Now, you'd think, okay, maybe the official White House channels would try to smooth things over, right? Maybe issue a clarification or just stay quiet. But no. Instead of backing away from all this, they did something just as out there as the video itself. The official White House account on X, what we all still call Twitter, posts this picture. It's got President Trump and VP J.D. Vance with crowns on their heads, floating above Democratic leaders. And the caption is just, "We're built different," with a little crown emoji. So they didn't just let the king thing slide, they doubled down on it, hard. Okay, to really get what's going on here, it's super important to understand that this video wasn't just a random one-off thing. It didn't just appear out of thin air. It's actually part of a bigger and pretty consistent pattern of using AI to build a very specific kind of image. I mean, when you look back, the pattern is totally clear. The president has shared AI-generated stuff showing him as all sorts of things. A superhero, the Pope. There was even another video from that same day where he's literally putting a crown on his own head while Hail to the King plays. It's this recurring theme, using these digital tools to project this larger-than-life persona. So after all that, what are we supposed to make of this? What's the big takeaway? Let's pull the camera back a bit from all the specific details and look at the bigger picture here. This really weird collision of protest and, well, posting.
Really, this whole thing is just a wild example of contrast, what you might call juxtaposition. Think about it. On one side, you have millions of actual people in the real world taking part in a physical act of democracy. And on the other side, the response is completely digital, totally surreal, and it's designed to make fun of them. It's like two different universes colliding.
And that leaves us with a really big, important question to chew on. Because this isn't just about one weird video or one protest. It's about this new world we're living in, where technology, power, and how we talk about politics are all crashing into each other. When our leaders start using these powerful AI tools, not to have a conversation, but just to mock people who disagree, what does that mean for the future of democracy? That's the real question, and I think it's one we're all going to be dealing with for a long, long time.